Yes, Bonnie's move to Manchester City is the biggest of the transfer window so far. Football finance expert Esteve Calzada joins us now. Afternoon, Esteve. Thank you for coming in. Bonnie's fee could rise to £28 million. Would you expect Manchester City to have to sell players in order to meet these FFP regulations?
I don't think there would be a big effort needed because Manchester City has done a very good work in terms of gradually reducing the losses. And let's not forget that a signing like this gets amortized over time. So in terms of something, I don't know the contract duration, but if it's something like 4 or 5 years, we're talking about splitting it into
4.5 years, the contract.
So 4.5 years, if we were talking about 8 million a year in a trend in which you're growing your revenues, you should be okay.
Okay, so because, I mean, you know, the casual fan who doesn't follow this too closely would think, wow, City spends so much on players, how are they getting away with this? But they've actually managed to balance the books quite well, have they?
Yeah, it's all about being able to generate in revenues what you spend on wages, and that seems to be the case.
Okay. Well, there's been plenty of speculation about the future of Lionel Messi at Barcelona, hasn't there? If he did decide to leave the Nou Camp, could any club afford to sign him?
It's very difficult. We're talking, I mean, if you've got with you £400 million, you can do the deal.
Yeah, no problem.
This is the type of money we're talking about, because first of all, we have to take into account that Barcelona would never sell the player. I mean, especially with the political system that there is in there. No president wants to go to history having sold the best player in the club history. So he has a buyout clause of around £200 million, which is a lot of money. And then if you were to persuade the player, you should come up with around £40 million gross per year. So that makes it 5 years. If you do a 5-year contract, that makes it around £200 million. So plus the 200 million buyout, we're talking £400 million. That would be, in the books, would be around £80 million per year. That's what you would have to generate in revenues or in profits to get there. And then, of course, we've got the financial fair play restrictions.
Right,
so not easy, not easy.
I mean, that's crazy money, isn't it? And then you're saying the FFP would be so hard to actually balance things up if a club was to buy him.
It would be difficult, but there are clubs on their way. I mean, we're talking clubs like United, even Real Madrid. Manchester United earned like £40 million last year, so it would be only fall short of 40, which is still a lot of money because it needs to be done on a year-on-year basis. But then there's Real, there's Chelsea, but still the gap between your profit up to the £80 million is big, and you need to come up with very creative ideas to generate those revenues.
So United could theoretically do it, but their fans probably shouldn't get too excited watching this afternoon, is that what you're saying?
They could do it on paper. Then, of course, it's up to Van Gaal and his team whether they would like to do it. And more importantly, it's about persuading the player, which I think it would be extremely unlikely at this point of time.
OK, and finally, let's look at the transfer spending trends around Europe. Do you expect the likes of, say, PSG to make big purchases, spend some big money over the next couple of weeks or so?
Not PSG. I was just actually updating the numbers after the news on Boni, and we are seeing a very sleepy market also out of the financial fair play restrictions. Even the Premier League that last year made around £115 million, including Boni at around £25 million, we're talking that it would be £34 million, so still far. We have halfway the market and still far from 115 last year. And even just before doing Boni, Premier League was not even the hardest spender. So France is in a tough situation because of financial fair play. Even Monaco is not spending anymore. So I would expect a very sleepy market. So teams trying to be very creative, bringing players on loan, elapsed purchase options, a lot of work to be done and not much money circulating around, unless you sell players, which means that then you can reinvest players. Obviously now Swansea has some money to invest out of having sold money.
So is that the reason that the market is so sleepy, as you say, simply the fact that financial fair play has meant that clubs just have to think creatively now?
Yeah, because in the past you could, I mean, even if you would like to do Messi, you could go to your big boss that would have big pockets and he would just finance, you know, but that's not the case anymore. You have to justify it on the regular activity of the business, and it becomes very difficult, and it's true. I mean, financial fair play is here to stay, and the maximum it allows now in the current 3-year cycle is around £8 million losses per year. So it's very difficult.
OK, well, maybe the market will wake up from its sleepiness over the next couple of weeks. Esteve, thanks very much.
Thank you to you.
Thank you.